I think I finally figured out the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Well, at least for me. See, I've been on both sides of the spectrum with this card, and I think I can see so many reasons for folks to think it is one of the absolute most valuable cards in the game. And I can also understand a lot of the hate. When folks say that it's outdated, needs a refresh, they might have a point. In this video, I'll quickly go over the card's highlights. I'll talk about my personal journey with the card. Then I'll explain exactly how I think I have finally figured out my stance on the Chase Sapphire Reserve. This one might get a little lengthy, so I'll get right to it. Before I even start, I want to say for the record, this is a premium full-service travel card, and it is one of the best credit cards in the entire game. Now, I stand on that, but I also admit there are some scenarios and situations where this card might not be for you, and I'm starting to understand I might be in that category. But grab a cold drink, maybe a coffee, and let's talk this through. I mentioned the card was a premium travel offering from Chase, and that means it comes with a premium annual fee, $550, and you need to fork over another $75 for an authorized user. The authorized user fee seems to be commonly overlooked in this game, so if you're not forever alone, like my favorite guy, RJ Financial, then you're going to need to pony up some cheddar. $625 is a substantial amount of money for a credit card. Now, Chase has chosen to go the credit or coupon book route somewhat with this card, so if the credits are easy for you to use, you'll mitigate that fee down to something quite a bit more manageable. The first and by far the easiest and probably favorite credit in the game is the $300 travel credit you'll get on a very broad Chase travel category. Please note this is card year and not calendar year, so the triple dip option might not be there as easily as some of the competitors' cards. The credit is great because it doesn't require you to book through any portal, and it really is a broad category. So far, so good. The next credit is also sometimes overlooked, and that is the $120 credit for TSA PreCheck or Global Entry. If you don't have either one of these things, do yourself a favor and get one. Global Entry is a pain in the butt, but it comes with PreCheck, so I suggest that route. You'll thank me later. Something that so many creators either don't know or they just don't mention is the card now comes with $300 in yearly DoorDash credits, in addition to a Dash Pass. So I get it. A lot of us don't like it when these credits are broken up in a weird or confusing way. And this one is, well, it's that. The credit is broken up into $5 DoorDash credit monthly, in addition to two $10 non-restaurant DoorDash credits also monthly. I know what you're thinking. Everyone is so down on Amex, but you rarely hear about this crazy DoorDash deal with Chase. But I mean, the $300 is kind of there if you don't consider how overpriced the orders might be, or hey, if you already use DoorDash, then there could be some value here. For most of us, it's somewhere in between a huge ripoff and a minor but regular inconvenience. So depending on your style, you could be able to make up a lot of that annual fee. Before we go any further, let's talk about the earnings. This card earns Chase Ultimate Rewards points, and they are widely considered some of the best and most valuable and probably most versatile currency in the game. CSR earns 3 times on dining, 3 times on travel, and if you're willing to purchase through that Chase Ultimate Rewards travel portal, you stand to earn 10 times on hotels and car rentals and 5 times on flights. Now, I normally hear folks say they completely refuse to ever consider purchasing any travel through a portal because there's such a high probability of the world ending if they do, but I will say that sometimes it's not a bad option. And to complement this portal, the CSR will earn a 50% boost when using points to book travel through that portal. This makes your UR points much more valuable and really gives them a floor value of 1.5 cents per point. This is especially great for hotels and domestic economy flights. Remember, booking flights in this manner counts as a cash purchase, and those flights will also earn airline miles and count towards your status. This is generally considered a superpower, and I think I absolutely agree. Let's sum it all up with the CSR has world-class travel and purchase protections, and we don't have time to go over all of those, but it is also considered one of the greater strengths of this card. And we can't stop there. The card comes with a priority pass that grants the user access to 1,300 plus airport lounges worldwide, and Chase themselves seem to add lounges often, including their own Sapphire lounges, but they also are adding brands such as Maple Leaf lounges. I think this is a superior lounge strategy for Chase. It's very beneficial to us users, and I see this network really continue to grow. This is a huge part of the card for me. I originally applied for and was approved for the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and after a year, I changed that product to the CSR so I could really get some experiences running this big leaguer. So now that I have some experience with it, what do I think? Well, for the longest time, I really could not figure this card out. It wasn't a question of whether it was good or bad. It's a great card. But the question is whether it made sense for me. Before I tell you my situation, let me tell you who I think this card is best for. This card is supercharged for a credit card user that travels, obviously, and specifically one that focuses on domestic economy travel. It's also superior for its relationship with Hyatt, and Hyatt really does ensure a high level of value for your points on a lot of hotel stays. Hyatt points really can't compete with airline miles though when you add in the international business class redemptions. But the guys looking for consistent value, this card has it. This card is also for the folks that really focus on Chase credit cards and UR points. If you're someone who knows what an ink train is, or you always know your 524 status, then you would likely benefit from having this card, assuming you do leave your basement once in a while. I would even say that this card is a superior card for most folks in the credit card travel game. It really is just that simple. No or low annual fee Chase cards complement the CSR very well, and Chase makes it simple to redeem and navigate their whole ecosystem. I also see this card being a favorite, ironically, for folks that just want to travel for free. I say ironically because nothing's free, and this card, like we said, costs at least $550. But I get it that we easily make it make sense with these cards, so no judgment here. This card is a high-level option for so many people, but what about me? Well, here's kind of what I've come up with. As much as I really love the portal boost as an option, I really don't use it much. And the things I have booked through the Chase Travel Portal, I probably should have just used cash. So one of the superpowers just doesn't really move the needle for me. The travel credit that so many folks really love really is something I just can't get behind. I give you $625 and you give me $300 on some of my spend. Okay, that's fine, but don't expect me to be excited about that. I've been doing okay with the DoorDash credit, but I don't get any real value from it. Would I use DoorDash if not for these credits? It's a big fat no. There is value there for me, but it's just not that big of a deal. What about the points earning? I can do better in almost any category against the earnings of Chase consumer cards. I don't use rotating category stuff, and almost any card on the planet gets 3x on dining. So I don't think this card is a bad earner, just nothing special. Can I mention that Chase doesn't have a full-time grocery or gas category, at least as far as UR points are concerned? I love the additional lounge access, and I am a huge fan of the travel and purchase protections, and I think those are some very strong attributes, but my issue is this. I'm starting to realize that there are cards in this game that get better the more you use them. If you are a Chase Trifecta user, then the CSR will be exponentially more valuable to you than someone that runs several different ecosystems. And this is something that is probably true with most cards. The one exception probably being the Capital One Venture X. That's a card that can sort of fit in any setup. As long as you use it a little bit, it brings quite a bit of value. No delivery food credits with that card, no real portal optimization. It's just a decent, great complimentary card for folks that like to travel. The Amex Platinum, tons of lounge access if you're going to be okay with all those coupons and credits. Then, if you are, you can easily offset that huge annual fee. Another factor for me is I think the CSR strengths, they really do lie in domestic economy travel. And while I do travel in that fashion, I'm closer to booking that sort of stuff with cash than actually using my points and miles for it. I really need those points and miles for bigger, pricier stuff right now. So to sum this all up, I think the CSR is the clear winner in a smaller, Chase-focused setup, and it probably shines as well as any other card when used like that. For someone with a bunch of ecosystems, I think it sort of gets lost in the shuffle, and it might struggle to be used. So for me, there is a real chance that come later this year, I may downgrade the CSR to a no annual fee Chase card and maybe upgrade an ink card to a Chase Ink Preferred so I can still access Chase transfer partners like Hyatt. I hope this does not come off as a negative take on the CSR because it is truly one of the best in the game. Shameless plug, guys. I'm going to put some referral links to the Chase cards, including the Sapphires and the ink cards, in the description below in case you guys are looking for those options. If you have used my links in the past, I absolutely appreciate it. And if you've stayed all the way to the end, thank you. Until next time.